You are listening to Pendulation Technique Demonstration with Jackie Flynn, EMDR approved consultant.
EMDR trained therapist. In this video, I share a demonstration of how I perform the pendulation technique with my clients. Dr. Peter Levine coined this term and describes it as the rhythm of contraction and expansion. Typically, I use this technique during phase 6 body scan if the client expresses a residual somatic level of disturbance of a 2 or higher. In the following demonstration, you will see my client engage in resourcing, then respond to a series of focus directives moving back and forth from the physical sensation in her body to the felt sensation of the activation. Then back again to the resource. Chosen resources differ from client to client. In this demonstration, we use resources of grounding through her breath work, the 5-4-3-2-1 sensory technique, exploration of a client-chosen resource within her line of sight, and such. It's important to always assess the client's capacity to tolerate the intensity of their felt sense. Some clients may need much more resourcing to be able to participate in this technique safely, while others may just need to focus on a small part of the felt sensation associated with the trauma, and others may be able to fully tolerate it. Attunement with the client allows the clinician to know when to move back into the window of tolerance through grounding, focusing on a resource, or another way that is best suited for your work. Please know that this is a demonstration, not a training. So don't use this technique in your work without adequate training. Well, it's nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
So I'd like you just to kind of scan your situation now, and I'd like you just to think of one thing that feels upsetting or causing you stress in some way.
Okay, so I just had to fill out a form for my kids' school, declaring our decision for going back to school in the fall.
Yeah.
So with the whole COVID situation, there's several options. They can go in person, they can go online, and there's many options of online. And then there's a hybrid for my middle schooler that he can go half and half, so it's just overwhelming. It's a lot of decision. It's a big decision, and I feel like it's a big responsibility to make the right decision for my children, but also for our family situation. That's a lot.
Yeah, I could tell as you were going through there, it almost seems like overwhelming, like exhausting, and a little bit of like, I don't know what's the best one, uncertainty.
Yeah, uncertainty of like, well, okay, so we make a decision, but what happens a week in? Is it all going to change? Or, what's best for the kids right now in the long run? What's best for me with my work and for, our family balance altogether? It's a lot. Yeah, overwhelm, uncertainty.
Yeah.
Heavy, like a heaviness.
Like a heaviness as you think of like all those variables. So it's not just your child and your children, it's the family, your work, trying to make everything fit in, and not even like knowing some unknown about what's going to come up with everything. Yeah. When you think about the heaviness, I'd like you just to close your eyes and scan your body. Where do you feel that heaviness at in your body at this moment when you think about the overwhelm of the school options?
It's a heaviness in my chest, maybe, or my shoulders.
So your chest and your shoulders. 0 to 10, with 10 being the most. How activated does it feel at this moment?
Maybe a 4 or 5.
So about a 4 or a 5. Okay, so you can open up your eyes. what I'd like you to do is just kind of look around your space right now, and I'd like you to pick out something that is a resource, something that's helpful to you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
Okay, I found something. It's a little picture.
So you have a little picture that's helpful to you
Mhm.
in some way. Oh, and you're showing it to me. Tell me about the picture.
It's, I think it's a painting. It's really a little abstract, but it looks to me like someone standing on the beach in the waves, and there's either sunrise or sunset, and they're kind of lifting their hands up, and it's like a free kind of image.
Yeah, like a freedom. And I know
Mhm.
the beach is a place that you absolutely love. So that's like part of where you go for your wellness. And that
Yeah.
picture seems to be very similar to what you've described to me in the past.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
why don't
Mhm.
you just kind of think of the picture, notice the picture, and close your eyes and just notice where you feel that free feeling in your body when you think about being on the beach with your arms up and feeling all the sensations that go with that.
The freeze of my hands, like open, open
Mhm.
palms. Mm-hmm.
Like an openness. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I want to do something else. I'd like you just to kind of look around your space and pick out 5 things that you can see and just name them aloud.
Mm-hmm. So my fan, um, a picture from my wedding, a picture of my kids, a candle, and a hairbrush.
Mhm. Okay. And what are 4 things that you can hear?
There's some kind of cartoons or something in the background.
Hmm.
I hear you.
Hmm.
I hear the air conditioner and like the wind outside.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A stormy day. And
Mm-hmm.
what are 3 things within your reach that you can touch?
Mm-hmm. My desk, my computer, my plant.
Hmm. What are 2 things that you like to smell?
Um, I have some lavender.
Mm.
I
Hmm.
have some peppermint too.
So you have lavender and peppermint, two
Mm-hmm.
scents that you love. You have them right there with you. And what's one thing that you like to taste?
Oh, and I have a drink.
Oh, you have a drink. What's in
Mm-hmm.
here?
And the way that I said it, it's really not a drink this morning.
What is
Underarm.
it?
It's just like a juice,
Okay.
fruit juice.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it is, let's just really notice that taste. Taste that taste in there. Allow yourself to be present with that fruit juice taste. And now open up your eyes. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to do just a little bit of grounding, and we're going to do it in the sense of kind of like with the ground, right? So do you have your feet on the floor right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want you
Yeah.
just to, with your feet flat on the floor, we're going to do a big deep inhale through our nose and imagine that it goes all the way down through our body, out our feet, way maybe 6 inches into the ground. And then when we breathe out, we're going to breathe out through our mouth and relax our body at the same time.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
So a big in breath through our nose all the way down to the ground. And let's hold it until it's uncomfortable. And then out through our mouth from the ground. Just releasing and relaxing. Another big deep in breath all the way to 6 inches in the ground. Hold it and out through your mouth. Okay. And when you feel ready, I'd like you just to open up your eyes. And I want you to go back to just that thought of the school choices. There's so many different choices. You can do in person in the school. You can do online. There's several online choices. And then there's a hybrid option. There's so many different variables. You got your child, then your children, then the family, and then your work, and try how is that going to look, and not even knowing what changes are going to come up, and is it going to change shortly afterward, or what your kid's going to respond best to. It feels overwhelming. Parts of it feels a little bit scary. And just before you felt it right there in your chest, scan your body at this moment when you think about that overwhelming of the school choices. Where do you feel it in your body? What physical location?
Here.
So right there, when you think about it, 0 to 10, 10 being the most activated, how activated is that sensation in your chest at this moment?
It's like a tightening. It's like just a little pressure. Maybe like a 4, 3 or 4.
A 3 or 4. So it went down a little bit even with that grounding and the resourcing that you just did. All right, so I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions about it. And I'd like you to just kind of think about that situation of the school choices and just kind of search your brain for any thoughts that goes with it. What are some thoughts in your mind about the school choices?
I have to make the right choice. You know, I have to make the right choice for each child because they're very different and their needs are very different. And I want ultimately, you know, for their needs to be met. And I also feel guilty that I can't fully just stop everything and homeschool them. But then I also don't think that would be best for either of them, given the situation. But yeah, so it's like a cyclone. Can we say that?
Yes.
Of thoughts. They're all just swirling in there. All these thoughts of, you know, and I feel sad for them. I want them to have, you know, my oldest is starting middle school. My youngest will be in 3rd grade. I want them to have, you know, really great year and great experience. And I feel kind of like they're getting a little gypped with the current situation. It's not their fault.
Yeah. So there's some sadness. There's even a guilty feeling in there. Part of you is thinking, gosh, I wish I could just drop everything and homeschool them. But then there's part of you that's like, I don't know if that would be the best thing. There's a lot of kind of back and forth there.
And I want to keep them safe, right? So like, I want to send them to school because I feel like that's the best choice. But what would happen? Like, what if they would get sick? What if they bring something home? Or what if they, you know, what if it's so disrupted that it's more, you know, challenging for them to go back to school and then have to come home and then go back, and it's a lot.
Overwhelm, worry, uncertainty, feeling guilty, feeling sad, like that cyclone of emotions. Now, if you were just to kind of think about the whole thing, what's the very worst part?
Like, what if they were to get sick, I guess?
Yeah. What's an image that goes with that, what if they were to get sick? A picture that you may have in your mind.
Like a house full of sick people.
And let's just check that out right now. When you think about that image, 0 to 10, how disturbing does that feel, the house full of sick people?
It feels like it feels big. It feels like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, that feels like even more when you think about that. So what I'd like you to do is just kind of scan your body right now when you think about that image, the house full of sick people, and just notice where you feel that in your body, the physical location.
It's like in my chest, but really it's in my stomach.
So like in the core, it's in your chest and your stomach, so it kind of rides the
Mm-hmm.
core. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just put one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach, and I want you just to really lean in to that sensation that goes with the thought of, the school choices and what if I have a house full of sick people.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to get really curious about any additional thoughts, any images, any emotions, any other sensations, and just dial up that sensation. I'm going to stop talking for about 20 seconds. It's going to seem like a long time, but just lean into that feeling, move towards it. Now I'd like you to move your focus just to the thought of that picture that you have on your desk there. Keeping your eyes closed, just bring your focus to the thought of the picture. Her arms are up. She feels that feeling of freedom. Maybe even thinking about the times that you've been to the beach. Feel that in your body. Now I want you to go back to the overwhelm of the school choices and that thought of what if I have a house full of sick people? Go back to the physical sensations. It may be in the same place. It may have shifted. Move towards it. Imagine that you could dial it up, make it more intense, and just get curious about what it is associated with. Now I want you to just bring your focus to just that space underneath your feet to the ground. Just visualize that. Remember, your breath goes all the way down there. Just focus on that space 6 inches below your feet. Now I'd like you just to go back to the thought of school choices. 0 to 10. How activated does it feel in your body at this moment?
So there are other parts of it that come up now. Real quick, can I say this? Like the other good parts of it come up of making a choice to if they were to go back to school. So it feels a little different when I go back to it now. So when I think of it now, it feels more like a 2.
Feels like a 2. So when you really leaned into it, you were able to find like some positive parts that came up. What were those positive parts?
I was just imagining my kids coming home after, being at school and talking about it and picturing them like, laughing with friends at school or, talking with friends about things that happened at school, and I know they really miss that. It's been so long since they've been there. So that part felt like a piece of them that's back, like an old part of them that's like able to feel like themselves again.
Like a familiarity.
And fun. It seemed like fun and not just being stuck at home all the time and in routine and normalcy and like regular, a little more like regular life,
Yes. Now, just thinking about those school choices now, there's lots of choices. And the thought of you have to make a choice for next year for them. Just scan your body. What are you noticing in terms of any tight, any tense, or any unusual sensations at this moment?
My chest feels a little lighter, like more space maybe. My posture feels a little taller.
Yeah. 0 to 10, how disturbing does it feel when you think about those choices? 10 being the most.
It feels like a 1. It feels like that pressure for it to make the perfect decision feels less because like anything else, like if it's not good, we'll feel it and we'll know it and we'll reevaluate and change our minds, right? Like nothing is really forever that we're like, I think as a parent, I'm attuned enough with my kids and with my own instinct to know that if something isn't right, that we can adjust along the way. We can, just stay attuned with what feels like our best decision as we go.
So it sounds like I can trust my judgment feels true there.
Yeah.
So what I'd like you to do is just lengthen your spine. Make it like as tall and straight as you can. And I want you to think about that school decision and just kind of notice where you feel it in your body. And just lean into that activation, wherever it is in your body when you think about the choices that you have. Now I want you to bring your focus just to the length of your spine. Notice your body nice and tall, upright. Yes. Feeling that in your body. Now shift your focus back to the thought of the school choices. I'm going to be quiet for about 10 or 15 seconds and just going to get really curious about any remaining thoughts or any images or any emotions that go with it, any other sensations. Now I'd like you to bring your focus just back to the memory of the smell of that lavender that you had. Just remember how that smells and how it feels when it goes in your body. In through your nose. And now go back to the thought of the choices with school. Got to make a decision. Scan your body. What are you noticing in your body when you think about that decision coming up?
So let me share out loud. I
Yes.
notice my breath is deeper. My hands feel more open in my body. I think the thoughts that are going through are we can make decisions that feel right for our family, and I can make it a point to like check in with my children and feel how they're doing, not just in school but emotionally and comfort wise, like make sure that they're safe and feeling right about the decisions too, and down the road. And then I was just thinking like logistically, like an hour ago, I was texting with a group of 5 moms. All of our boys are like BFFs, and they've all gone through elementary school together, and they're all about to start middle school together. And out of the 5 of us, everyone has a different plan. Like everyone has something very unique that fits well for their child and their families. So I feel like it's okay to do what feels right for our family.
Yes.
Notice
that it's okay to do what's right for our family. And just notice what you feel in your body when you think about that piece. It's okay to do what's right for our family. What are you noticing?
It feels more relaxed. It feels more, again, like a deep breath and like a taller posture and more comfortable.
Notice that.
Thank you for watching. Visit www.jackieflynnconsulting.com for more resources.